Welcome back to part 3 of the Dogs of Ancient Egypt. Let's talk about breeds. Now, we don't know if the ancient Egyptians explicitly bred dogs like we do now in the modern day, but we do see a couple different breed types that appears in Egyptian iconography. Now, you've got to understand that this does not necessarily reflect what dogs might have actually looked like during that time. This might have just been a reflection of what the quote-unquote perfect dog or the ideal dog would have looked like for the Egyptians. In the Old Kingdom, the most common dog breed type was the Chessum Hound, and we'll talk about that term when I do a video about the ancient Egyptian words for dog, but essentially it's just a word that means dog, and it has specifically been tied to this type of dog. Now, these ones have lithe bodies, the perfectly coiled tail, and then the erect ears with a pretty pointed snout. When they are painted, they range from a yellowish to a grayish to a molted brown or black on white. They have been compared to this dog. This is the Basenji, which is a dog that comes from Africa. And if you look at it, they have very, very similar features. So there are theories that the Chessum Hound later became the Basenji Hound through breeding. Then there is the Salugi Hound, and this breed type usually appears during the Middle and New Kingdom. They tend to be a little bit shorter, stockier, with the lop ears, so not pointed, and a long, gently curving tail. They have a similar color range from black to tan, cream to white, and then white with black or brown splotches on it. It has been said that they look like two different breeds. The first is the modern Greyhound, which I can see the similarities, but I think their namesake is a little bit closer. This is a Salugi Hound, and they also come from Northern Africa. There is two different types. One is called a Saluki with a K and a Salugi with the GH. Now, the Salugi are a short-haired group, but the Saluki are long-haired, which wouldn't look like any of the ancient Egyptian dogs. So I think a Salugi Hound is a really great choice for the possible iteration of what ancient Egyptian dogs were. There are also a few other breed types that show up, and these are usually during the Middle and New Kingdoms, but the examples of them are very small. Some of these look like little corgis, where they have very, very short legs, the pointed ears, and then the curly tail. There are also versions that look a little bit more like dachshunds with the lop ears and the short legs and the tail. But then there are also instances of mastiff-like dogs, so very chunky, very thick, and muscled dogs. Check out part 4 to learn some of the ancient Egyptian words for dogs.